Hey, welcome back to the channel, everybody. So it is Saturday, December 30th, right at 1 p.m. The temperature is 49 degrees. It's finally warmed up some, and the humidity is about 61%. And I just wanted to come out here to give y'all one final look at the bee yard for 2023 and say thank you to everybody that has subscribed and continued to be a subscriber. And hopefully y'all continue to join us and enjoy the channel into the next year, into our 2024 season, which, let's see, we started in 17, so 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So this will be our 8th season next year. So again, the temperature is about 49 degrees, and I did not expect to see any bees flying, but hive, let's see, 2 and 3 and 4 have some activity, and then the last 2, they're pretty strong, they have some activity as well. But right before I started recording here, and I noticed on this hive this stuff right here, which looks like a combination of wax and some moisture. This is one of the few hives that do not have a migratory, or I'm sorry, a telescoping cover. So they have a migratory cover, which means I have not fed them any granulated sugar. But if my memory serves me right, they had pretty adequate food stores. I'm not going to open them up today. I'm going to have to wait until it's a little warmer, but I'm very, very curious to see what happened there and whether or not they are still alive, or if I am finally taking my first dead out towards the end of December. Now, let me back up just a little bit and say I was out here this past week when it was very warm, into the 60s, and some of the hives had a lot of activity, and it was really hard to determine whether or not they were conducting some cleansing flights, orientation flights, or if they may have been getting robbed out. I think I've seen robbing in the past, but it's been a while to where I couldn't really remember what it looked like. But if my memory serves me right, that was one of the hives that had a lot of activity at the front entrance, which kind of caught me off guard for this time of year. And now that I see this, what I'm looking at and what I just shared with y'all, I'm thinking they may have got robbed out, where they may be a dead out. But TBD, it is cold. Some hives are flying just a little bit, but most aren't. But seeing that remnants at the entrance has me a little concerned, so I'll have to check back and share with y'all at a later time when it's nice and warm. Hopefully we see some activity and that kind of answers my questions, but I'll pop the top and take a closer look. But that's all for now. Just a quick last look at the yard. As y'all saw, I got some pollen substitute about 6 weeks later than last year, and my plan for that is to put one 5-gallon bucket out here in the yard towards the entrance and give them about half a pound to a pound at a time. Actually just rest the bucket and secure it on top of these cinder blocks. And then last year I put a bucket in the back corner, the other corner of our property, which seemed to work quite well. So 2 different locations, not to make too much competition for the bees, but last year I bought from Man Lake, or actually off Amazon, I bought Bee Pro. It's like a brown substitute, and they love that. The stuff I bought this year, it's been quite a few years since I've purchased it. It's Man Lake's Ultra Bee Pro or Bee Pollen or something like that. It works well also. This time of year, anything's better than nothing, and I decided to do a few things differently this year than the previous years regarding feeding, and that was to feed a lot less and a lot later in the season. So we'll see if that works out in my favor or if it bites me in the butt. All TBD. But thanks for tuning in, and like most people say, if you have not subscribed, please feel free to do so. Of course, if you hit the bell, you'll receive notifications of future videos. And like I like to say, you are all more than welcome to share any of our content with your friends and family on any social media platform of your choosing. All right, the final look for 2023. Thanks for watching. Happy holidays and Happy New Year. All right, here we go, round 2, and coincidentally it is exactly 24 hours later. So it is Sunday, December 31st, right at 1 p.m. Temperature is about 55 degrees, humidity is about 50%, and I'll show you the hives here in a second because we got quite a few flying, to include the one that I had some concerns with. But the reason I am out here is because, given the temperatures today and over the next few days or the rest of the week, I've decided to provide them some pollen substitute. So if you couldn't tell from the previous clip, that is 2-pint mason jars, and that is about 16 to 17 ounces of pollen substitute. So given the temperature over the next week, I imagine that will probably last a week. So I'm anticipating already coming back out here next weekend, Saturday or Sunday, and filling that back up with another pound of pollen substitute. And unlike what I said in the earlier clip in this video from yesterday, I only plan on giving them the one bucket for now, and once I gauge how fast or slow they consume the pound of pollen substitute, a little bit of a tongue twister, I'll provide another bucket over in the other corner of our property, which seemed to work pretty well last year. So I'm just gonna grab a ratchet strap so I can secure it to the cinder blocks over there, just because we do have some weather that moves through this time of year, and the last thing I want to happen is for the bucket to get knocked over and the pollen sub to be a complete waste. As I say that, last year some did get knocked out of the bucket and onto the ground here, which you can see is covered with pine straw, and the bees made use of that anyway. But nonetheless, I really just don't like wasting certain things, and the pollen sub has gone up in price almost 100%. Last year I bought a different version. I bought the Bee Pro for like 35 bucks. The Ultra Bee, it's always a few dollars more, maybe 37-ish. But this year I ended up paying 55 on Amazon. And that's Man Lake selling through Amazon, which I believe they incorporate some of their shipping costs, even though it's Prime and free shipping, because on the Man Lake site, this is about, I want to say about $40 or so. And then you have to add shipping and all this other stuff. So anyway, that is what I'm up to. I'm just gonna grab a ratchet strap real quick and then get the bucket secured. And again, it's just after 1 o'clock. Sunset's about 4:30, 5 o'clock. It starts getting pretty dark. So I will come out here, or try to come out here before sunset, and just show y'all a follow-up video today. And if I don't get to that, I'll do so tomorrow. And just real quick, right before I leave the yard, I just wanted to show y'all this hive. This is the one that was in question yesterday. And if I hang out for a few seconds, there's been some pretty nice activity. So it does not look like they're dead out or that they got robbed out. So keeping my fingers crossed, they're still alive and doing well. All right, there's the grand idea and final setup. Like I said, I'll check on them in about 2 to 3 hours and see if the bees have discovered the pollen sub. All right, just a quick 2-hour follow-up. So it is just about 3 o'clock and I saw one bee hovering over here, but as you can see, the majority have not found it yet. So sunsets in 2 hours. I will check on them tomorrow around the same time, about midday. The temperature looks like it'll be about the same, in the mid-50s. So I imagine by tomorrow the majority of the bees will have found the pollen sub. I don't know why that's giving me such a hard time today. All right, tomorrow will be the third part in this video series. All right, let's see how the feeder's doing. Oh, that is a noticeable change from yesterday. All right, so here it is, Monday, January 1st, 2024, right at 1 p.m. And I'd say the bees are on the feed. All right, like I said before, I'm just gonna pay attention to this feeder now that I know they've discovered it, and see how long it takes them to eat the 1 pound of Man Lake's Ultra Bee pollen substitute. I had one additional thought right as I was about to leave the bee yard, or the feeder location here, and that is to check out the bee yard and the hive entrances. Hopefully this isn't a bad idea, since the entrance here, okay, not as busy as I thought it may have been given the amount of bees on the feeder. And I just want to hang out at my usual spot right here next to the pine tree. And I understand it might not come up on camera because it's a GoPro and some details aren't the best, but I am looking at the entrances more out of curiosity, just to see if I can tell if the bees are bringing in pollen from presumably the pollen bucket feeder that I've provided. Hard to tell. I don't see too many bees with pollen baskets all loaded up from this distance. I might go down to the very far end of the yard here and just see if I can get a better angle. But they are definitely active today with this weather. Here's a better look at the hive that was in question. Yesterday they had some activity, as the previous clip showed y'all, but today, perhaps due to the weather, sun directly hitting the entrance, and maybe because of the pollen substitute, they are well alive. So I am no longer worried about this colony, which is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth from the very far left side of the hive stand. I am not worried about them being a dead out. Alrighty, here we are. I've decided this will be the fourth and final clip in this video. So it is January 2nd, right at 1 o'clock, 50 degrees, about 50% humidity, a little bit of a breeze, and it's a lot cooler today than it was yesterday. So let's go check on the feeder. I don't anticipate on seeing too many bees on it, but I have been wrong about things in the past. So I am not one to mind being wrong, especially when it comes to things like this. So despite it being rather cooler today than it was yesterday, the bees don't seem to mind, and this is a pretty good position for the feeder. So right at noon or about 1 o'clock, sun hits it pretty nice, and maybe that warms up the inside of the bucket and the pollen sub. But yeah, they are on it. All right, let's go check out the bee yard real quick. Yeah, just one final look. Hopefully it comes up on camera, but the hives are surprisingly active. Well, some of them are, despite the temperature. All right, folks, that does it for this video. Just a very early look at the bees, the yard, and feeding them in January. And unlike our friends in the more northern climates, it is rather nice keeping bees here in eastern North Carolina, because again, early January, 50 degrees, and the bees are able to be fed. So given this time of year as well, it's usually a lot colder, or it will get cold into the later part of this month, February and March, and then late March, early April, things start to turn, and then about mid-April, things really start to kick up into spring and warmer weather. But the point being is, I think I'll come out in about 2 weeks. I'll take advantage of any time in between, but I think I'll just make a video towards the end of January just to give y'all an update on how things are progressing then. So this is also a really good time of year to treat the bees. I haven't really made too many videos other than the first video using the InstaVap, so I think I'm overdue for that. I might do that here in a little bit, again taking advantage of any warm days throughout the month of January. And to finish my thought from earlier, this is a good time of year to treat your bees because most colonies are rather broodless. So with all that said, I'll say this: thanks for watching, everybody. Please subscribe if you haven't. As always, share our content with your friends and family and ask them to subscribe. And if you are looking for any truly delicious local and raw honey, you are in luck if you are in or around the Jacksonville, North Carolina area, because we have some left over, or some remaining from our 2023 harvest. All right, thanks for watching, everybody.